Welcome to I Love Asian Dramas. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel to get notified when new videos are uploaded. The title of this Korean romance drama is Check Out the Event from MBC with 4 episodes. The story begins with Ha Song-yi heading to work, buzzing with excitement to meet her boyfriend, Park Do-kyum, at a nearby restaurant. However, her world comes crashing down when Do-kyum unexpectedly breaks up with her. At first, she thinks he's joking, but it quickly becomes clear that he's serious. Back at home, Song-yi finds herself scrolling through Do-kyum's social media, consumed by her thoughts. In a moment of jealousy, she follows him to his studio, suspecting he's with another woman, only to discover that Jang Ruri is merely collecting her belongings. Do-kyum sternly tells her his neighbors have complained about her noise, asking her not to return to his place again. Alone in her room, memories of their happy times together flood Song-yi's mind, leaving her heartbroken. The next morning brings an unexpected turn of events. She receives a call announcing that she's won a couple's trip to Jeju Island. This news leaves her flustered, and she rushes to inform Do-kyum, urging him to join her. Unfortunately, he refuses, stating that they're no longer together, but Song-yi is persistent. At the airport, she waits for Do-kyum, attempting to reach him on her phone, only to realize she left it behind. The event coordinator and other winners check in, mistakenly believing Do-kyum has already left for Jeju. Once at Jeju Airport, she meets Seo Ji-kong, their tour guide. He approaches her to return a yellow flag she dropped, but when he expresses interest in her, she misinterprets it as romantic. Once she learns he's just the tour guide, embarrassment washes over her. Ji-kong asks about Do-kyum, and she mentions he might not show up. Just then, Do-kyum walks in, and Song-yi's spirits lift. Ji-kong then hands out cameras to the winners, encouraging them to capture memorable moments for an upcoming travel essay. In an attempt to win Do-kyum back, Song-yi tries to charm him, but he remains oblivious, lost in his earbuds. While the other couples enjoy their time, Song-yi and Do-kyum experience a disconnect. Seeing Do-kyum interact with Ruri stirs jealousy in Song-yi, and Ji-kong notices her distress. Do-kyum reveals that he joined her on this trip as a farewell gesture, suggesting she should find someone better than him. Hurt and frustrated, Song-yi walks away. Meanwhile, Song Jong-hoo and No Hyo-jong bicker on the bus, prompting Song-yi to hop off, with Ji-kong following her. She opens up about her heartache as Ji-kong shares his insights on life. The next morning, Song-yi awakens flustered in Ji-kong's hotel room, quickly trying to sneak back to her own room to avoid any misunderstandings with Do-kyum. Song-yi returns to her room, and Do-kyum checks in on her, asking if she slept well. She responds that she did, completely unaware that Do-kyum spent the night anxiously worrying about her whereabouts. Ji-kong is frustrated that their reservation for the forest trip has been disrupted. However, Song-yi, with her deep knowledge of plants and trees, steps in to explain things to the group, and Ji-kong genuinely appreciates her thoughtful gesture. As they prepare to leave, the group realizes that Do-kyum is missing. Worried for him, Song-yi rushes back into the forest to search for him. When Do-kyum finally arrives at the meeting spot, he becomes concerned when he doesn't see Song-yi and decides to look for her. Just then, they hear a scream. Fortunately, Song-yi is unharmed. She's just been startled by an adorable squirrel. Later at the hotel, Song-yi hopes for an intimate moment with Do-kyum, but their plans are interrupted by a call from Ruri, causing her to step outside. Ji-kong, noticing her distress, follows her into the rain. Meanwhile, Do-kyum still worries about Song-yi and decides to join the search. During their conversation, Song-yi confides in Ji-kong about wanting to improve herself, and he encourages her, assuring her that she can. Curious about Ji-kong's kindness, Song-yi asks if he treats all women this way, to which he replies that she is the only one he's nice to. Just then, Do-kyum arrives, and Song-yi, still upset, tells him she doesn't need his explanations since they've already broken up. At dinner, Do-kyum suddenly leaves the table to chase after a man but loses him in the crowd. Surprised, Song-yi listens as Ji-kong suggests they turn their couple trip into a breakup trip, but she can't respond because Do-kyum has returned. Song-yi mentions that she spent the night in Ji-kong's hotel room after drinking too much but can't recall what happened between them. Do-kyum, feeling hurt, tells her to find someone better than him, which deeply upsets her. The boys in the group were chatting about girls while the girls were discussing movies. After a while, the boys opted to play basketball until they grew tired. Kang Jae-nam received a call informing him that the girls were drunk, so they made their way to find them. Each boy helped his partner as best as he could. The next morning, Do-kyum brought Song-yi her favorite banana milk as a remedy for her hangover, which brought a smile to her face. While they were eating, Song-yi asked Do-kyum if she could be his secret girlfriend, but he didn't answer right away. Meanwhile, Hyun Kyung-mi shared her story with Ji-kong, who listened attentively. Later, when Song-yi failed to show up at their meeting spot, Do-kyum and Ji-kong hurried off to find her, concerned that she was lost. Luckily, Ji-kong was able to locate her. Song-yi apologized for being late, explaining that she had lost her way. Ji-kong reassured her, expressing his worry, just as Do-kyum arrived on the scene. As it was getting late, they decided to stay at Granny's bed and breakfast for the night. While Song-yi went to the bathroom, she accidentally fell into a hole, crying out for help, but only a cute puppy noticed her plight. Just in the nick of time, Do-kyum came to her rescue. Meanwhile, the man Do-kyum had been trying to follow turned out to be Mr. Pyun, someone they trusted deeply, but who had betrayed them as a fraud. Fortunately, with Ruri's help, the police apprehended Mr. Pyun while Song-yi watched from a distance. Afterward, Do-kyum apologized to Song-yi, explaining that his decision to break up was to avoid being a burden to her, although he intended to reconcile once he sorted out his issues. In a twist of fate, Song-yi decided to end things with him this time instead. Hyojang had a disagreement with Jong-ho, but he managed to soothe her feelings by expressing that he was dating her because he genuinely liked her. Meanwhile, Kyungmi's sister urged her to move on from the grief of losing her daughter, reminding her that it had been 15 years since the tragedy. However, Kyungmi felt utterly heartbroken, unable to release the memory of her only child. In a difficult decision, she asked Jae-nam for a divorce, believing it was best for him, and expressed her gratitude for his patience over the years. A year later, Song-yi decided to resign from her job, seeking a fresh start. Do-kyum was in a discussion with a man experienced in launching indie bands, showcasing his songs in hopes of making an impression. At the same time, Song-yi was interviewed for a curator position at Era Botanical Garden. During a dinner with Ji-kong, he expressed his desire for her to be his girlfriend, but she kindly declined his offer. On a blind date arranged by their families, Jae-nam and Kyungmi shared a delightful date together, both feeling happy in each other's company. Meanwhile, Jong-ho was live-streaming and answered personal questions from his viewers. When asked about his relationship status, he revealed that he and Hyojang had naturally drifted apart, but if given another chance, he would approach things differently. After watching Do-kyum's band perform in public, Song-yi quietly slipped away, but he followed her for a brief friendly chat before they parted ways. Reflecting on the photos Do-kyum had taken during their trip to Jeju Island, Song-yi decided to revisit the island. To her surprise, she noticed Do-kyum tailing her, hoping for a chance to rekindle their relationship. The story concludes with Do-kyum and Song-yi reuniting and finding their way back to each other. Hello. Feel free to check out another video or subscribe to my channel, and if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and drop a comment below. Thanks a bunch for tuning in.